What's up, guys? I'm Travis, and you're watching Upgraded RC. Welcome back, everyone. If you've been following me for the last couple episodes, you've probably heard me talking about a Holmes Hobby Tourquemaster Sport 558 turn that I just had laying here, and I was going to go ahead and throw that in here eventually. Well, the time has come. After I got done with my last video, which was the Reefs Raw 500 servo here that we installed, I had a couple of buddies ask me if I wanted to go out with them and crawl a little bit and bash and rock race some. So I said yes, but I was kind of embarrassed at the stock motor that I had in here, so I went ahead. Didn't take me very long. I went ahead and threw that Tourquemaster Sport 558 turn in here, and I loved it. It worked really, really good for me, right up to the point where I'm pretty sure I smoked it. I see smoke. I think it was my fault, to be honest with you. I was stuck in one place for a little bit too long trying to get up, and my tire was caught, and it just wasn't working out. I was giving it too much power, and I think that's why I smoked it. Once I realized that I smoked my motor, I went down to my hobby shop. I was going to bite the bullet and buy the brushless system that I wanted. I was there the day before looking at it, and when I went down after I smoked my motor, they had already sold it. So that's why we are not putting a brushless system in it right now. As a matter of fact, my motor choices were very limited. Between COVID and all the snow and stuff we got in Texas right now, it's really hard to get parts. But they did happen to have a Holmes Hobby Tourquemaster 540 27 turn. Now this is the Pro model. This comes with the metal bearings in both ends instead of a metal bearing in one end and a brass bushing in the other. It also comes with the better magnets. It comes with better brushes that are, and you, by the way, you can take these all apart. You can replace the bearings in them. You can replace the brushes. I'm pretty sure you can replace the rotor as well. So this is supposed to have a really smooth startup and be a great motor. It's hand wound by the Holmes Hobby guys themselves. I'm looking forward to this, and I have great expectations for this brushed motor because I couldn't get the brushless setup that I wanted right now. Anyway, I don't have anything in here right now. It's working, so we're going to go ahead and throw this in here. We'll see how it does. And by the way, guys, this Reefs Raw 500 servo works great. It's really smooth, it's very torquey, and it's really fast. I'm pretty impressed with it so far. So good. I did notice that the mount, it was giving me just a little bit of twist there on that plastic mount that I mounted it to. I was going to buy one of these the other day when I got my servo, but they didn't have these in stock. Now they do, so I went ahead and grabbed one. This is the servo tray. It's aluminum, made by Vanquish. We're going to go ahead and throw that in there while we got the cover off. So check it out, guys. Here is a motor recommendation chart from Holmes Hobbies. It also shows the kV output of each motor here. Now, in the past, with my Gladiator, I went ahead and took that stock Dynamite 35 turn out, and I replaced it with a Tourquemaster Sport 550 15 turn. That's putting out 1250 kV. I'm not exactly sure what a 35 turn Dynamite or the Axial really puts out, so don't quote me on this, but I have heard 900, I've heard 950, I've heard 1100. I really don't know. It's definitely quite a bit lower, though. Now, the one we just burnt up was the Tourquemaster Sport 558 turn. Look what it's putting out. 2300 kV. That's why I enjoyed it so much. Had all that wheel speed and torque and power. It was great. Well, the one we're putting in today is all the way over here on this side. It is the Tourquemaster 540 27 turn. Look what this one's putting out. 2200 kV. So 2300 to 2200 is really not that big of a deal. I don't think I'll notice it very much at all, and I'm also going to go ahead and gear down from a 12-tooth pinion to an 11. I was trying to get a 9 or a 10, but they weren't available at the time, so we'll be doing that to get a little bit smoother start, and hopefully I don't burn this one up as well. So let's get into it. Go ahead and rip the other one out and get this new motor in, and we'll throw this servo tray in while we're there. All right, so if you guys have been following me any at all, or if you've watched the last couple of videos I've done on this bomber, you've probably seen me take the cage and body off several times, so I'm not gonna show that. But for everybody who is new here, who hasn't done this, just super simple, real quick, guys. This is a real easy body and cage to remove. There are 3 Allens here on the bottom. There's one here, and one here on both sides. And then you've also got these 2 Allens right here below your battery tray. There's 8 Allens total you need to remove. After that, all you have to do is either remove your shock, or remove the top, or remove the bottom, whichever's easiest for you, whatever you want to do, and your whole body and cage will lift right off, making it super simple to access everything. If you have a sway bar like I do, you will also need to remove these 2 screws here to release the connects, the linkage for it. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and rip this off, and we're going to get the other one out of there, inspect it real quick, and then we'll put our 11-tooth pinion on the new one, solder the leads on, and throw it back in. All right, so now that we got our cover off and our cage, we can go ahead and access our motor. Here it is right here, and it does smell like it's pretty burnt. We're going to go ahead and remove this 1.5 here and this 1.5 here to remove our cover here for the slipper clutch and also the pinion and spur gear. And then we'll remove this Allen and this Allen to take off our retainer, which will release the motor with the motor plate mounted on it. Well, there it is. We got it all apart. I went ahead and inspect my slipper clutch, and it still looks good. I didn't smoke that at all. My spur gear is still fine, and the pinion is still fine. So it was definitely the motor, and it's really hard to see, but it smells really bad in there. So I'm sure that it's pretty cooked. I can still turn it, but I'm thinking I might have burned a brush or something like that up. Anyway, we're just going to go ahead and take these 2 Allens off here to remove the motor plate. We'll install it on the new 540/27 turn. And then these leads, I've literally only had these leads on here for like, God, just maybe 10 or 15 minutes or something. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these off and just solder them right onto the other motor.
Double gated here. And we'll do that pretty easy. Well, that's going to be it.
Okay, guys, so once you get your motor on there and your pinion mounted up, make sure that your pinion is flush with your spur gear here. It should be perfectly flush like this. Your pinion shouldn't stick out any farther or be in anymore. That way you can get as much gear mesh as you want. Now, I went ahead and put Loctite on both of the Allens that are holding the motor plate onto the motor. I also put Loctite on the socket head screw here as well to make sure that you don't want those coming off while you're going down the road. That's going to be that'd be catastrophic and cause all kinds of problems, guys. So make sure all that's tight, and also make sure that this is on the flat part of that shaft. That would be really bad if that's not on the flat part of that shaft. Make sure it's all tight, nice and flush. The very next thing we're going to do before you tighten this down, we're going to rotate this a little bit to open it up, and then we're going to set our gear mesh. Now, I like to set my gear mesh by just taking a piece of notebook paper, I fold it in half, and then I just cut this little strip off of it after I fold it in half. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick this in here, in between our pinion and our spur, and then we're going to go ahead and rotate the motor back to make it pretty tight here. Not super tight, but it should be in the groove pretty snug. Now, when I pull this paper out of here, if it leaves good marks on it from the gears, then I know I have the correct mesh. If it doesn't leave any marks on here from the gears, I know it's too loose. If I pull this paper out and it rips, then I know I'm too tight. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Oh, that feels pretty good, actually. Look, we didn't rip the paper. I've got really good mesh marks on there. You can see it from the gear where it went back and forth. So I feel that that's pretty good. I'm going to take it and just a hair looser there. I don't want to be too tight. And then we'll tighten it down, and I'm going to check it again after I tighten it down. So we'll go ahead and tighten this down real quick. There you go. I didn't kill it, I just kind of snugged it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to feed this in through the spur gear and the pinion by rotating it backwards, like so. Now you can kind of see what's going on. Let me go ahead and pull this out. Well, it won't pull out because it's going to rip right there if I do that. But look, there you go. Beautiful marks. I think that's it, guys. You can go ahead and make sure everything here is tight. Make sure this is tight. Go ahead and put it back together and button this up. So guys, that was a pretty easy upgrade. Changing out your motor and your pinions, really not that difficult. It looks terrible because the cage and the body's on there, but once you get it off, it's easy peasy. Everything's pretty simple. And then I went ahead and installed the aluminum mount on here for our servo, and that did take a lot of the flex out. I think that's going to be pretty good. So we got our motor in here. Now we've got the 2200 kV. So we should have a lot more power than we had out of the stock one, maybe just a little bit less than the 8-turn that I burn up because it was a 550 instead of a 540. But that's okay. We've still got the wheel speed that I was looking for. Definitely faster than the stock one, definitely a lot better than the stock one.
Oh, I'm sorry. How are you, brother? How are you? How are you doing? Oh, you know, just get in the way.
Until then, guys, when video number 6 comes out, which I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. Once again, it kind of depends on parts and availability. But if you guys have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to comment. Ask me a question, and I may be a while before I get back with you, but I promise I will get back with you and answer your question to the best of my ability. Go have fun. Until the next video, guys, which is just right around the corner, I'm Travis. You're watching Upgraded RC. Peace out.